Morning everyone, Chris here from Melrose T-Tops. We're going to do a quick instructional video on how to install and adjust a Corvette roof for late 86 through 96 Corvettes. Using our installation kit. The reason this kit is required or needed is because you can't access these bolts to tighten down the hardware plates with the trim panel on. Now from the factory, Chevrolet recommends to drop this entire trim panel along with the rear view mirror and the visors, which are not shown in here. This is just a car we use for testing and checking stuff. But it's very time consuming. A lot of people don't like tearing their car apart to adjust their roof. So this kit will allow you to do it in a faster, easier manner. Okay, so with the kit, you're going to get complete instructions, start to finish. 4 bolts that are going to replace these front locator plate bolts, and wrench for those, and a Torx wrench for the front or the rear bolts in case you have lost your factory equipped ratchet. Alright, so take the roof off the car, lay it on something soft so you don't scratch your lens, and then let's get started. First step is going to be replacing these Torx bolts. Alright, so you can see now the inner plates. These will move around in here. That allows for adjustment of the roof. So this can float around. So now go ahead and install your hex bolts. After your hex bolts are installed, we can go back to our vehicle, set the roof on the car, and start all of our bolts. Alright, with the roof on the car, proceed to starting with the rear. You're going to want to tighten up your center bolts first. After those are tight on both sides, you're going to want to check your 2 outer bolts, make sure those are tight as well. Once you're done with checking these 6 bolts, the rear is pretty much done. Okay, so rear bolts are tight, the back of the roof is done. Next step you're going to want to do is come up to the front. You can get this focused and get your center bolt started. If it doesn't start, you're going to have to stick your finger up in there, move this plate around until you can get that bolt started. And you can see it just engaged, the plate moved. And it's tightening. If you don't have your ratchet, you can use the silver L-shaped Torx wrench that we sent along. It just takes a little bit longer. So you don't want to tighten it down all the way, just so it's snug. After this, you're going to tighten up your plates using the supplied wrench. And again, we do this way because you can't tighten this plate down with the trim panel on. So you have 2 choices. Remove your trim panel, your visors, your rear view mirror, access the bolts through the windshield frame to tighten this down, or this way, tighten them up. Now we can take the roof back off the car, take out 1 bolt at a time, and reinstall the factory bolts, and you're good to go. Alright, we've tightened up our plates from inside the car and pulled the roof back off, turned it upside down, and all we have to do now is replace these bolts back with the original ones, one at a time. Oh, and you want to do it one at a time, because if you loosen up both of these, you basically lost everything you've just done. which is locating this plate correctly. Loosen up both of these, it's going to move around. So I'm just going to take one out, put the factory bolt back in, tighten it down, then do the next. Okay, so you are now all set to install the roof back onto the car, and everything should line up perfectly and tighten down. Keep in mind, if it's a brand new roof, sometimes it takes two people to push the roof into position down and back with these new weather strips on until these weather strips get seated to the car. That's normal. Once it's on the car for a month or a couple weeks, these things will seat to the other weather strips and it's going to start going on a lot easier. But you might need an extra hand pushing it down, get these bolts started. And you always want to do the back first. You want to draw it back, then you want to draw the front down. If you do the front first, then try and draw it back, you risk cracking the frame back there. All right, thanks again. Melrose, have a good one.